You. The mistress punished me for failing to deal with you. And look, her favorites, the Gnurly Witch and the Wriggling Man, have also failed. Think not of me. Did I not tell you that the shadows behind your back is always her? And the sound of footsteps in the dark, always her? Turn around.
My hound. You have run so long to finally meet your mistress. You are still in my kingdom, silly child. And the kingdom is alive while its ruler draws breath. That's true for both of us, isn't it? I won't step back. Not now, when you've come to me yourself to fill my cup.
Fight back. Best kind of fight. Not used to lighting enemies on fire first.
Excellent! I say yes!
Patrizio Curinos!
Your death awaits.
Agritium Turinos!
I'm leaking red all over myself.
Taste my fury.
Come here, Bats. I'll stab you.
My kingdom. My own kingdom. Turned to dust. Become the 1,000th grain for the apology. What would you have me do? Ask for forgiveness? Beg for mercy? Oh no, I won't beg. I know better than anyone what it means to lose and lose everything. I didn't ask the eldest for mercy as they laughed at my foolish boldness. I won't ask you either. You are my reflection. Just a little luckier. If ever you stand before immense power sweeping away everything you care for, don't bow down, just as I didn't. Is this mercy? Or a cruel joke that I do not understand? Let it be. I accept your gift. I'll go to the trial of the eldest and give them the apology. It represents thousands of years of insanity. This must end.
Now that the performance is almost over, we can take off our masks. Though I'll be sad to part with them. I am a voice from another world that you've heard since you first set foot on the stolen lands. A harbinger of doom and change. I am dust and echo, a memory of the past. I am the one who revealed to you the truth about the fallen goddess, who gave you the light capable of dispersing mist.
I am the one who began this story, and I am the one who will end it. I am the eldest of the First World. I am the Lantern King. You, a creature from the mortal world. You are just one of thousands of waves born in an ocean of my creation. Play your role well. So go, return to your fragile house, live your little toy life. Forget about the nymph Nyrissa and the matters of the First World. It's the most precious gift I can give to you. And I shall press on, The finale of my play draws near.
The way seems clear.
Yes, I'm still here.
Magritium Turinos. Magritium Turinos. Magritium Turinos. Magritium Turinos.
Quiet footsteps. Precisely.
I did it. I did!
Bring it before us as an offering, so that an eldest may sip from it, the curse said. Having filled the cup, Nyrissa appeared before the gods of the first world. That was when the Lantern King played another joke. he announced that the nymph, cursed for her attempt to become one of the eldest, would now get to be one. The eldest of dust and trampled hope, doomed to drink from her own cup and suffer terrible pain. Well, everyone got what they wanted. We got a peaceful kingdom, Nyrissa got her status as an eldest, and the Lantern King got a finale to his horrific performance. Now that the eldest and other spiteful beings wouldn't be bothering us, the Queen returned to her subjects and celebrated the victory and the end of the kingdom's miseries with great fanfare. Everything gradually returned to normal, including our exciting lives. Not always peaceful, but also not troubled by invasions from another world. And little by little, our heroes and the common folk began to forget the sorrows of the past. Under the wise leadership of the Queen, the Stolen Lands became a true country. There was still much to be done, of course, and some of it will need to be finished by our heroine's descendants. But there are no longer cut purses on every corner, and the peasants aren't afraid some new self-proclaimed chief will show up and strong-arm himself into power. The Queen's subjects praise her generosity, while citizens of neighboring lands groan from crippling taxes. Citizens of the Stolen Lands have it pretty good. Truth be told, the treasury isn't always capable of paying the royal bills, and the throne room's adornments are clearly decaying, but sometimes you have to buy the people's love, literally. Generously sponsored by the state, many bards, musicians, poets, and other servants of Shaylin create an abundance of artistic works praising the ruler and her wisdom. Unfortunately, these creations are significantly less popular outside the kingdom. No kingdom can function without its nobility, and the kingdom in the Stolen Lands is no exception. Landowners, ready to share the burden of ruling alongside the Queen, grew to be more and more influential over time. And the more pompous the court balls and receptions held by dukes and baronets became, the more eventful were the lives of the schemers and freeloaders who always lived within the shadows of the powerful. The feud between Brevois North and South, which had been smoldering for ages, finally sparked the fires of civil war. Our troops lent aid to the forces of Restov, led by Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori. After several bloody battles, House Sertova was forced to recognize Restov's independence. The victory came at a high price, but we have no more loyal ally than once more free Rostland. Kasil Aldori, who lost an arm during the war, became a permanent ambassador of Rostland at our court. Led by careful, level-headed Dugath, the Tiger Lord's tribe reunited and started to lick the wounds left by the erratic Armagh. Little by little, they once again became one of the strongest mercenary armies in the region. Dugath always assured our queen of his friendship, but the queen always stayed on her toes, understanding that anything could happen when that old fox is around. Pitax never regained its former stature. In their fight for power, both bandits and the relatively honest merchants lost all their strength, scaring away both customers and suppliers. Trade routes began moving through other cities. Pitax fell into decline, and the citizens quickly forgot all of Iravetti's atrocities, remembering his rule instead as a golden age for the region. Governor Lyacenza remembers what the Queen did for him and serves her truthfully and loyally. There was no place for art in the new Pitax. Students and teachers from the academy were scattered to the wind. Some found a place in neighboring courts, while others set off to earn some coin in roadside taverns. A third group, harboring anger and resentment toward the Queen, began weaving revolutionary plots. The ruins of the Academy of the Arts still stand in the middle of the city, overrun with ivy, empty and unwanted. Trolls and kobolds, two of the most savage native peoples living in the Gnarl Marches were completely exterminated in the region. The forest paths became much safer, and the peasants' cattle have stopped going missing. After enduring so many storms and troubles, Varnhold eventually turned into a real city. Daring settlers decided to conquer the vast, wild expanses of Dunsword, and despite all odds, they succeeded. The modest colony that almost vanished at the hands of an ancient lich turned everything around to become a thriving city with lively river trading. Peace reigns in the caves beneath the old sycamore. The kobolds and mites continue to explore the depths and learn simple crafts from each other. Rumor has it, the first mite-kobold wedding even happened not long ago. That said, settlers still aren't rushing to build new homes in the area. Some kind souls even put up warning signs along the roads. Beware, traveler. Steer clear of the old sycamore. Another inscription soon appeared over the sign, though. No keep going treasure ahead honest. Oleg's trading post continues to thrive, attracting even more travelers. Much to its owner's displeasure, a small town is springing up around it. Despite Oleg's grumbling, he and his wife are well regarded by everyone, and Svetlana was even elected town chief. Jod and Keston, after surviving the Bloom, remained loyal to the queen they followed through thick and thin, and they continue to serve as court advisors to this day. The austere priest and the gloomy warrior regularly argue over the proper way to govern the state, as well as which of the two rulers should hear out first. Some things never change. Keston Garas took a post as chief of the kingdom's guard. The former heir to a noble family never returned to Brevoy, severing all ties to his kin. However, a few years after the victory over the First World, a girl arrived from Brevoy and soon married Keston. They say Keston started smiling a lot more after that. Jod remained loyal to the queen to the end of his days, healing the sick and generously sharing his austere wisdom with anyone who wished to hear it, and some who didn't. Having fulfilled his duty to the ruler, Erasculus priest peacefully departed this world, surrounded by friends and disciples. Having participated in Lamashtu's ritual, Olika gave birth to a strong and healthy baby. Sadly, the child grew into an unruly and violent adolescent. Having maimed a peer at just 10 years of age, the boy escaped to the Gnarl Marches, fleeing the rage of a mob that tore his mother to pieces instead. No one knows what happened to the lad, but legends of Lamashtu's child, who sometimes kills lost travelers and sometimes leads them to safety, are passed on by word of mouth throughout the area. Breinhardt became a loyal ally and trade partner of the kingdom, and Darvin himself had been seen as a frequent guest in the capital. The elegant monarch of the neighboring kingdom has broken many hearts at court. After his visits, many young guards and servants have been seen staring through windows, sighing wistfully about something. The Fae took a fancy to the kingdom, feeling totally at home here. They often play various pranks, but they never do any serious harm. Falcos and Teresia managed to restore the magic forest. Once freed of the anger of the Scythe Tree, people returned to the abandoned village, and it became a haven of friendship between the Fae and ordinary people, just like old times. The lizard folk of the Longtail tribe returned to live on the shores of Candlemere, but they couldn't return to their ancient way of life. Living alongside people, the lizard folk adopted their behaviors, habits, and even religion. More and more of the Longtail tribe pray not to the spirits of their ancestors, but to Erastil or Gorum. They even began to forget their original language. I hope someone writes down their songs and legends before they all sink into oblivion. The sweet teeth departed on a journey, hoping to see as many wonders as possible of this world and others. They keep sending us news from every corner of the map. Their bright painted wagon, drawn by a bull mastodon, crisscrosses Galarian, somehow appearing in the center of one incredible story after another. Evindra was glad to see the Lantern King's plans turn to dust. She spent some time helping restore the kingdom after the calamity, then returned home to the First World. They say the rebellious spirit of her cousin Nyrissa awoke within her as well. Evindra is said to recount our story to the Fae, encouraging them to question the power and might of the eldest. After the victory, the storyteller abandoned his affairs and began spending a lot of time alone in contemplation. He eventually bid farewell to the Queen and left her lands. But I suspect the inhabitants of Galarian haven't heard the last of this mysterious traveler, for his own story is hardly finished. We never saw Amiri again. Perhaps she got lost somewhere in the First World. Or maybe she found some other way back. Who knows? I doubt that stubborn barbarian would just vanish without a trace. As for the Six Bears, they returned to the mountains, out to the farthest, wildest backwoods they could find, and lived there ruled by their primal laws. Valerie stayed to serve the Queen, but not for long. She soon laid down her weapon to start her own family. Valerie married a simple farmer and bore him 2 beautiful children, then settled away from the capital, where she was soon forgotten. Harren became famous, respected by dwarves throughout our kingdom as well as our neighbors, even as far as the 5 Kings Mountains. He's often been asked to help out or teach others, and he's never denied anyone, despite his grumbling. Some people even listen to his preaching. Lucky for us, there's a lot less howling about the end of the world now, and more wise words of moderation and humility. Not all of his disciples turned to Grotus, but everyone took away something useful from his teachings. Jaethal spent some time at the Queen's court, but it became progressively harder for her to hide her true nature from the omnipresent servants of Pharasma. Realizing the risk, she reluctantly left the kingdom, and she soon sent a message from Geb. In a country populated mainly by undead, Jaethal fit in well, especially with her skills and Urgathoa's blessing. She quickly gained fame and influence there, even gaining the favor of Erasni, the de facto ruler of Geb. Octavia didn't stay still for very long. Soon, she and Reg went to Numeria and started a huge slave rebellion there. They didn't manage to destroy the Technic League, but to this day, slaves speak their names with admiration, and slavers with terror. Over the course of their journey, the two grew as close as ever, leaving their quarrels and resentments behind. After returning from Numeria, Octavia settled in her mother's house and became the Queen's advisor and loyal companion. Rigongar left for Numeria with Octavia to start a slave rebellion. Over the journey, he really matured and learned to understand others, as well as how to control his anger. After he returned, he took a position in the Queen's court. Being both formidable and charming, he inspired fear in the hearts of some and lust in others. There are even some rumors that he almost talked Octavia into marrying him, and possibly even continuing the Della Fiorni line. As for Knock Knock, Hero Knock Knock, he continued his questionably heroic efforts in the Stolen Lands. Despite whatever mess he fell into, no matter the danger he leapt into, he always seemed to scrape through just a little better off than before. Like true heroes, he simply never gave up, struggling on and meeting the challenge of each new day with a spirit that no mishap or misfortune could ever quell. Kalika has become calmer and wiser, but her friends no longer hear her singing by the fire anymore. If she does write poems, she keeps them hidden away. She doesn't quarrel with her sister, but perhaps because she's grown weary of fighting, and not because they've truly made peace. Kanera's precocious spirit seems to have evaporated. She doesn't jeer and mock others as much as she used to, and her friends mourn her sharp wit. She's grown amicable with her sister, but her liveliness, emotional tantrums, and deep caring have given way to a calm, almost businesslike acceptance. Despite all the woes that befell the country, our queen remains a strong leader. Many noble houses from neighboring lands wouldn't hesitate to be related to her, and they regularly send a variety of marriage proposals. As for myself, the author of this book, Lindsay, who never chose a pretty nickname, I'm still here, inside my creation, within the Capitol Library. I live just like I always dreamed, surrounded by people and books, and not a day goes by without someone turning my pages. My story inspired many others to take up the quill. My readers have written many beautiful books and poems, transporting prisoners of humdrum lives into worlds of endless fantasy. What more could I dream of? I hope, oh honored reader, that this story inspired some creativity in you, or at least offered some entertainment. In any case, it's time to set the final period.